Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you actually thought about how long you're going to live? Not just if you'll reach 70 or 80, but what those years are actually going to look like. Because here's what nobody wants to admit. We're not just living longer anymore. We're living sicker longer. Think about it. You probably know someone, maybe it's a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, who's technically alive, but they're managing 5 different medications. They can't walk upstairs without getting winded. Their joints ache constantly. They're battling diabetes or heart disease or memory problems. They're surviving, but are they really living? And if you're over 30 right now, you're on that same trajectory, unless you change something. Here's the truth that's going to sound harsh, but you need to hear it. The lifestyle you're living right now, the foods you're eating, the habits you've normalized, they're not just affecting you today, they're programming what your 60s, 70s, and 80s are going to look like. Welcome to Health Morph. I'm here to show you that aging doesn't have to mean declining, and today I'm going to introduce you to one simple food, something people have eaten for thousands of years, that science now shows can literally extend your lifespan while protecting your heart, your brain, your joints, and your blood sugar. This isn't some exotic superfood you've never heard of. It's probably sitting in your pantry right now. You've just never known how to use it properly. Stay with me because what you're about to learn could add healthy, vibrant years to your life. So let's talk about what's really happening inside your body as you age. Most people think aging is just about getting wrinkles and gray hair, but that's just what you see on the surface. The real aging, the kind that determines whether you're active and independent at 75 or struggling with chronic disease, that's happening deep inside your cells, your blood vessels, your brain, your joints. And it's happening right now, even if you feel completely fine. Here's the uncomfortable reality. If you're over 30 and living a typical American lifestyle, eating processed foods, sitting too much, dealing with chronic stress, not sleeping enough, your body is already breaking down in ways you can't see or feel yet. Let me break down the 3 silent processes that are determining your health span right now. First, oxidative stress and cellular aging. Every second of every day, your cells are producing energy to keep you alive. It's an incredible process, but it creates byproducts called free radicals, unstable molecules that damage everything they touch: your DNA, your cell membranes, the proteins that keep your body functioning. When you're young, your body has robust antioxidant defenses that neutralize these free radicals. But as you age, especially if you're eating poorly and living under stress, those defenses weaken. The damage accumulates faster than your body can repair it. And this isn't abstract. This oxidative damage is directly linked to every major age-related disease you're worried about: heart disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, diabetes, cancer, arthritis. Think of it like rust forming on metal. A little rust isn't a big deal, but over years and decades, it weakens the entire structure until eventually something breaks. That's what's happening in your body right now, silently, constantly. Second, chronic inflammation, the fire inside. You've probably heard the term inflammation a lot, but let me be clear about what we're really talking about here. Your body's inflammatory response is supposed to be protective. You cut your finger, it gets inflamed, and it heals. That's acute inflammation, and it's good. But chronic inflammation is completely different. It's a low-grade fire that burns constantly throughout your body, slowly destroying your tissues and organs. It doesn't hurt, you don't see it, but it's there day after day, year after year. It damages your blood vessels, setting the stage for heart attacks and strokes. It damages your brain cells, accelerating cognitive decline and raising your Alzheimer's risk. It breaks down cartilage in your joints, leading to arthritis and chronic pain. It interferes with insulin signaling, pushing you toward diabetes. Third, metabolic dysfunction and insulin resistance. This one's huge, and it's probably affecting you right now, even if you don't know it. Here's how your metabolism is supposed to work. You eat food, your blood sugar rises, your pancreas releases insulin, your cells absorb that sugar for energy. Simple and efficient.
But when you're constantly eating processed carbs and sugar, when you're sedentary, when you're carrying excess weight, your cells start to become resistant to insulin. They stop responding properly. Your pancreas has to pump out more and more insulin just to get the same result. And this is where things get really dangerous. Insulin resistance doesn't just lead to diabetes, though it absolutely does. It also accelerates aging across every system in your body. High insulin levels promote fat storage, especially dangerous visceral fat around your organs. They increase inflammation throughout your body. They damage your blood vessels, raising heart disease risk. They interfere with growth hormone and other hormones that keep you young. They even affect your brain, contributing to memory problems and dementia. By the time you're diagnosed with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, you're not catching it early, you're catching it late, after years of silent damage. So what do you do about it? This is where things get really interesting. For thousands of years, traditional medicine systems, Ayurveda in India, traditional Chinese medicine, even ancient Greek medicine, have emphasized specific foods for longevity and disease prevention. And there's one food that shows up again and again across cultures, praised for its ability to support healthy aging, protect the heart, maintain brain function, support joint health, and regulate blood sugar. I'm talking about walnuts. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Walnuts? That's it? That's the big secret? But hear me out, because the science behind this is absolutely extraordinary. Walnuts aren't just food, they're medicine. And when you soak them properly, which is key, and I'll explain why, they become one of the most powerful tools you have for healthy aging. Let me break down exactly why walnuts are so effective and why soaking them matters.
First, let's talk about what makes walnuts unique. Walnuts are the only nut that contains significant amounts of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. That's a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that your body converts into the same beneficial omega-3s found in fish oil. Why does this matter? Because omega-3 fatty acids are profoundly anti-inflammatory. They counteract that chronic inflammation we talked about earlier. They literally help extinguish the fire that's aging you from the inside out. But walnuts don't stop there. They're packed with polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that neutralize those free radicals damaging your cells and DNA. In fact, walnuts have higher antioxidant activity than any other common nut. They also contain compounds called elagitanins, which your gut bacteria convert into urolithins. And here's where it gets fascinating. Urolithins have been shown to improve mitochondrial function, essentially helping your cells produce energy more efficiently and clearing out damaged mitochondria that contribute to aging. So walnuts are attacking aging from multiple angles, reducing inflammation, fighting oxidative stress, and improving cellular energy production. Now let's talk about the specific health benefits, backed by real science. For your heart, multiple large-scale studies have shown that people who eat walnuts regularly have significantly lower rates of heart disease. Walnuts improve cholesterol levels, reduce inflammation in blood vessels, improve blood vessel function, and help regulate blood pressure. They literally protect your cardiovascular system from the damage that leads to heart attacks and strokes. For your brain, walnuts are often called brain food, and it's not just because they look like a brain. Research shows that regular walnut consumption is associated with better cognitive function, slower cognitive decline, and reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease. The omega-3s support brain cell structure, the antioxidants protect against neurodegeneration, and the polyphenols improve communication between brain cells. For your joints, the anti-inflammatory compounds in walnuts help reduce joint pain and stiffness associated with arthritis. They won't cure arthritis, but they can significantly reduce the inflammation that drives joint destruction and pain. For diabetes prevention and blood sugar control, this is huge. Studies show that eating walnuts improves insulin sensitivity and helps regulate blood sugar. People who eat walnuts regularly have lower rates of developing type 2 diabetes. And for people who already have diabetes or pre-diabetes, walnuts help improve blood sugar control. Now here's the critical part that most people miss. You need to soak walnuts before eating them. Why?
Because like most nuts and seeds, walnuts contain compounds called phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors. These are natural defense mechanisms the nut uses to protect itself until conditions are right for germination. When you eat raw, unsoaked walnuts, these compounds can interfere with mineral absorption and make the nutrients in the walnuts less bioavailable. They can also be harder to digest, potentially causing bloating or discomfort. But when you soak walnuts, ideally overnight in water, something amazing happens. The soaking process neutralizes the phytic acid, deactivates the enzyme inhibitors, and actually begins the sprouting process. This makes all the nutrients in the walnuts dramatically more available to your body. It's the difference between your body absorbing maybe 60% of the nutrients versus absorbing 90% or more. So who should be eating soaked walnuts every day? Honestly, if you're over 30 and you care about aging well, this is one of the simplest, most effective things you can add to your routine, particularly if any of these apply to you. You have a family history of heart disease, diabetes, or Alzheimer's disease. You have high cholesterol or high blood pressure. You've been told you have prediabetes or insulin resistance. You're dealing with joint pain or inflammation. You're concerned about cognitive decline. You want to maintain your independence and health as you age. Even if you're healthy right now, if you're eating a typical Western diet and living a sedentary lifestyle, your body is already dealing with oxidative stress, inflammation, and metabolic stress. Walnuts address all three. Now here's exactly how to prepare and eat soaked walnuts for maximum benefit. Take a handful of raw organic walnuts, about 8 to 10 halves, which is roughly 1 ounce, put them in a bowl and cover them with clean water. Add a tiny pinch of sea salt if you want, which can help with the soaking process. Leave them on your counter overnight or for at least 6 to 8 hours. In the morning, drain the water and rinse the walnuts. You'll notice the water is slightly discolored. That's the phytic acid and tannins being released. That's exactly what you want. Now you can eat them. The texture will be softer, less crunchy. Some people love this, some people need to get used to it. Eat them first thing in the morning on an empty stomach for maximum absorption. You can eat them as is or add them to oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, or salads. The recommended amount is about 1 ounce, 8 to 10 walnut halves per day. That's enough to get the benefits without overdoing it on calories. A few important notes. Walnuts are calorie dense, so if you're watching your weight, account for them in your overall calorie intake. 1 ounce has about 185 calories, but they're nutrient-dense calories that actually support healthy metabolism. Buy raw, organic walnuts when possible. Avoid roasted, salted, or candied varieties, which negate many of the health benefits. Store raw walnuts in the refrigerator or freezer to prevent them from going rancid, as their healthy fats can oxidize when exposed to heat and light. If you have a tree nut allergy, obviously don't eat walnuts. And if you're on blood thinning medications, check with your doctor, as the omega-3s in walnuts have a mild blood thinning effect. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, before you go to bed, take a handful of walnuts and put them in a bowl of water. Set them on your counter. Tomorrow morning, eat them. That's it. That's the first step. And when you start noticing the benefits, come back here and leave a comment. Tell me what changed. Tell me what you noticed. Because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step. If this video opened your eyes to the power of simple, evidence-based strategies for healthy aging, hit that like button. Share this with someone you care about, a parent, a friend, someone who needs to hear that aging doesn't have to mean declining. And subscribe to Health Morph, because we're on a mission to give you real, science-backed information that actually extends your health span, not just your lifespan. Information you can trust, strategies you can implement, and hope that aging can be different. Stay healthy, stay informed, and remember, the best time to invest in your health was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. I'll see you in the next one.